Well, as we heard, some of those evacuees have been allowed to return to their homes. One of them is Shawn Lavigne. He joins us now from his home in Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia. Shawn, you returned last night. First, let me ask you, how does it feel to be back in your home after days of wondering if it was still standing?
It's as the clip you played, surreal. It's been a surreal week, one of the most bizarre in my life. And honestly, I've never been so happy to see dirty dishes in my life as I did last night. It was great. It's great to be home.
And you are very lucky. Your home is still standing, beautiful from what we can see behind you. But for many individuals, that is not the case. But I want to take us back to last Sunday for a moment. When you first learned about these wildfires, what went through your mind?
So I was actually playing in the provincial pickleball championships in Bedford at the tennis center when the first alert came out. And we had seen that the fire was in Upperton Talon, but we had no idea what direction, really what the conditions were at that time, because it was an all-day event. When I left the facility at 7 o'clock, we had heard rumors throughout the building. We had got a second alert at about 4:30 local time that it was close to Lucasville Road, which is really over a hill to where we are. And we didn't know if the fire had jumped over to our area, which is, it's a residential area. I actually live in an apartment complex. There's two of them. So immediately I was wondering, oh no, like this is not good. I may not get home. And when we left, we got diverted about a couple of kilometers from where I live. And I just took this picture of this wall of smoke and this eerie red sun. It's an image I'll never forget.
Foreshadowing, frightening. We were showing it as you were describing it there. And everything we know moved so quickly, as you talked about. And I understand you have a medical condition, and that, of course, had to be managed during all of this. So how were you able to do that while being displaced?
Right. I have severe sleep apnea, so obviously I couldn't make it home, so I didn't have a machine, didn't sleep at all on Sunday night. Monday, where I was staying in Brookside, Nova Scotia with friends, I actually played pickleball in the morning with my group in Prospect Bay, and fortunately one of them had a CPAP machine they could lend me. So I was able to get that on Monday. I had no med that I needed as well. I went into the local drugstore at Hatchet Lake, and I've never seen five people help somebody out so fast. I had no prescription. I told them my situation, and they said, look, you're going to get a call. We'll get all the information. You will have your prescription this afternoon. And within 2 hours, I had all my meds. So the generosity and just the outpouring and how quickly things happened for me. I always tell people this week, Natalie, I've been one of the lucky ones. I had a place to go. People have rallied around me. I've had people offer to do my laundry. I've had people offer their cottages to me. And I've talked to neighbors last night when we came back. They were in a hotel because they had nowhere else to go because they were from away. At the end of the day, I was one of the real lucky ones. There were a lot of roller coaster rides. We had a situation on Thursday. It was so hot here. We had a lot of fires spark up around the city. And actually, the road to where I needed to go, where I was, the home I was displaced at, it was blocked off for a few hours. So the frustration was starting to grow because people were not really following the burn bans the way they should be. And there's a lot of anxiety in the area right now.
I want to talk to you for a second about people not following those burn bans, because we understand, as authorities have told us, the large number of these fires are believed to be caused by accident, by human activity. And we know the RCMP have issued 10 tickets to people continuing to light fires in the province, despite that your province, being under that provincial burn ban. How do you feel when you hear that?
I actually did a bit of a rant. I'm a really positive person, and I don't get angry too often. I was angry on Thursday night. Just how, the messaging has been out there, by officials. And at the end of the day, it's common sense. And have compassion for the people that are in a worse situation than the rest of us. I've been able to get home. 10 minutes away, people do not have homes. And it's been very difficult. And it's not just here in Nova Scotia, it's all across the country that if there is a burn ban in place, please follow the rules, because your community could be like ours, and you do not want that.
Shawn, how would you grade officials' efforts to keep residents informed about these fires?
Well, I've been monitoring all the press conferences throughout the week. I think the message has been very, very good. Our mayor, Mike Savage in Halifax, obviously he's had a couple of famous lines in the last few days. I do know, just from talking to people who have been displaced and who may have lost homes, that they were growing frustrated that they weren't getting the information they were, fast enough in some cases. But overall, in terms of, again, in my situation, I had a feeling we were going to be okay where we were. I understand why we were evacuated, just because there is a lot of people here in our area, and we were close to the fire. It's just a couple of kilometers down the road where it was affected, where it ended.
You talked about the sort of community effort, so indicative of the East Coast, people coming together, the resilience. I mean, they'd come from away, the famous musical about, the spirit of people in Atlantic Canada. So not surprising that you are seeing what you described, community members coming together. But what measures would you like to see put in place from officials, perhaps, to reduce the likelihood of something like this happening again?
Well, I think a big eye opener to many people, not just where the fire is happened near me, but also in other areas, it's just access to get out. The infrastructure of roads, because in a lot of cases, in some of these forested communities, there's only one way in and one way out, and obviously, the severity and how fast everything happened on Sunday, I think that has really opened a lot of people's eyes. Many people talk about it when we talk about the situation, is that hopefully this will, officials will take notice, and that in future that we will have, better infrastructure just to get people out. And just the water resources that can start to put these fires out as quickly as possible. And I will say the firefighters and everybody have been unbelievable. The fact that I'm sitting here to you 5 days after what I saw on Sunday, to me is a miracle.
All right, we will have to leave it there. The fire, we know, not out, but officials saying it has moved from being out of control to being held. Still more, though, to come on this. Shawn Lavigne is a returning evacuee who was displaced by the Nova Scotia wildfires. We reached him at his home in Nova Scotia.